Oh, yes, 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 my combat fans. Oh, I miss you guys so much. The last time we saw each other was last Friday, right, guys? But today, I am here to give you your prediction as promised. I myself will not reap anything from this, but I hope you guys make some money this weekend with my prediction, which I'm about to give you guys. Because I'm happy to see people make money. Why is this? Money is nothing but a simple tool, like leaf. It's a currency. And knowledge of combat is a gift I was given, and I will not put it to waste. I want you guys to take full advantage this weekend. But before we do, let me pull out my magic phone so I can begin the show. I will not be long today. I'll do this for you guys within 15 minutes. Let us begin with boxing. There will be a boxing match this weekend, folks. As per tradition in the history of WBC, Cinco de Mayo has always been a date of boxing fiesta. This is something that we do throughout the whole weekend of Cinco de Mayo when it comes to boxing history. To pay respect to all the Mexican boxing legends, let me be clear, those who respect us as well. I would like to give respect on this Cinco de Mayo to Julio Cesar Chavez. To me, he was the greatest Mexican boxer of all time. I would like to give respect to the current champion, Canelo Alvarez. Even though I feel, in my own personal opinion, that he picked his opponent later on in his career. But we've seen fighters done this even in my own community. Floyd Mayweather, when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, after he was robbed in the 96 Olympic in Atlanta, Georgia, not too far from where I was raised, in the Olympic, which I think he won. Hell, Floyd won that match. Floyd used to go on a tear like a young Canelo, who I came across in 2011 in Montreal via word of mouth. I never knew who Canelo Alvarez was until 2009. I was in a Muay Thai training session downtown uh, Montreal, across the Muse TV Plus. To those of you who are familiar with the surrounding, if you are heading down towards Place des Arts near the Hyatt Hotel, if you cross the street going north on Saint Catherine, or Saint Catherine as we say in English, or in French Saint Catherine, La Rue Saint Catherine, there was the Music Plus TV station. Behind it was the Jiu-Jitsu, the dojo, the Galinas dojo, which I briefly trained in Jiu-Jitsu there, briefly, because I was there to learn. I have to admit, I did not have the money to afford to train at TriStar. So for 30 bucks, we snuck in, and I was able to train there for like 2 months. And then right across that building from the Music Plus, there was this old building. There was this old, I say old building, now I sound like I'm speaking my native people tongue in the Abidjan. There was this building across, I forgot the name of the street. There was this cafe, there was this gym there. It's like old school. This is where I first fell in love with Muay Thai, because they were teaching two arts up there. We had Aikido classes, we had Wing Chun classes, we had a yoga class on one floor, bro. Because there was a recession and we were trying to save money. Me, when I'm speaking to you, I have to be clear as agua, as water. So there is no stone, no stones left unturned. So when we left that academy, I went to learn Muay Thai at that gym with my friend Kirby, who got me into it. Kirby Sherry from Saint Michel, Quebec. This is where I began my Muay Thai adventure. I did not even know how to box proper. I know how to kick, not boxed. And then, after we finished that class, my Muay Thai class, I used to go down that same hall and practice Aikido. The manager of that gym was a guy from Milan. Signore, rispetto por la familia. Respect to your family. He allowed us to train sometime until midnight. This was where I learned with a proper Muay Thai instructor how to unleash whatever that was in me I did not want to maintain the proper Zen move. This guy used to say, look here, when you guys come, the only rule is you will pay me $50 to train. Here is a broom. Here is the vacuum. When you're done, you guys will stay here until midnight to clean the gyms, which we did. I believe his name was Mr. Bertolini. Grazie mille. Thank you very much, sir, for allowing us to use your gym. Folks, when you come to Canelo Alvarez, this is a boxer full of potential to become one of the greatest. But he must learn to accept the big, big challenges. For instance, David Benavides, he will need to answer to his calling. But before he does, he will have to fight Dimitri Bivol. Win or lose, Canelo, he will have to face David Benavides someday. You will have to. It's part of boxing. You will have to. Just like Roberto Duran, the Hand of Stones, came to Montreal when the calling was made from Sugar Ray Leonard to come to Quebec to give us the spectacular bout at the Stadium of the Olympique. I believe that Las Vegas deserved to have, or the city of Mexico deserved to have, Mexico City deserved to have a spectacular bout between you and Benavides. Viejo, we don't disrespect class. Canelo Alvarez is a great boxer, and I respect you, Viejo. This Saturday, folks, if you're going to place your bets on the Canelo Alvarez fight versus Mr. Ryder, I believe that's his name, Ryder, I would like you to please place your bets proper for a complete annihilation. Canelo Alvarez will win all 12 rounds if it goes to unanimous decisions. However, this fight will not make it past round 10. Once Canelo Alvarez figure out Mr. Ryder, it will be done by round 2. From round 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I expect him to make a meal out of this guy. The fight will end by KO or TKO. Canelo Alvarez will have his arm raised as the victor. All belts will be retained. It is Cinco de Mayo. There is no way he will be defeated by this guy. Canelo is too smart, too sharp, and he will outwit this guy in the ring. 10 out of 10. I respect the young warrior who challenged him, but young man, you don't know who you're facing, bro. You are facing one of Mexico's finest exports. This is Julio Cesar Chavez. Let me take my glasses off seriously. If this guy think he's gonna beat Canelo, you wrong, cousin. You wrong. You wrong. You will not get this done, bro. But I admire that you want to come there to challenge the great one. He will defeat you proper. Mm. Canelo Alvarez, I expect you to give my fans a great show. Unanimous decision. Now, folks, to the UFC we go. UFC 288. I don't even know how to start this one. I want to cry, but I can't. That's why I take my glasses off. It's gonna be a special one, folks. It's gonna be one for the books. UFC 288 will be one for the books. This is gonna be my Cinco de Mayo gift. I can't drink beer. I'm going through a process right now where I have to detox myself from alcohol after a long year of drinking, bro. I believe that this main event will be one of the greatest UFC main event of all time. I'll explain myself. I don't have to look at my phone to do this. Straight from my brain. When was the last time we had a UFC fight, or should I say an MMA fight? I'm gonna go back before the UFC was invented and rebranded back in 2009. In 2001, actually 2001. I'm gonna go way back to Saitama, Japan. UFC fans, ask yourself this one question. Ask yourself this. When was the last time we had a proper wrestling match since Sakuraba faced the great one, the Emperor, Fedor Emelianenko of Mother Russia? When was the last time we had a wrestling match? Ask yourself this. The last time we had a fight like this on the ground was when Chael Sonnen, actually, let me track myself back here. When we had Rashad Evans fought Rampage Jackson. To my UFC old heads, you remember that fight, eh? When Rashad challenged Rampage Jackson. From Pride FC, yeah. And then we had Chael Sonnen, who fought against Anderson Spider Silva. Not because Spider wanted to do a ground battle, because Chael Sonnen is a high level wrestler. And he wanted to test Anderson Silva's ground game. And ironically, in the very last 10 seconds of that same fight, Chael Sonnen was submitted by Anderson Spider Silva. I remember that fight very well. I watched it in a bar. And then we've had high level wrestlers, but not in the lightweight or the featherweight division, I'd say, because we've had fighters like who came from the WEC. Aldo was a Muay Thai fighter. Cerrone from WEC was a Muay Thai fighter. And they were not really wrestlers until this young man named Uriah Faber came from Team Alpha Male. Even he was a high level Muay Thai practitioner himself. He renounced wrestling, which was a big mistake because he could have used it when Jose Aldo broke his leg in the WEC before he was signed by the UFC. Before the WEC was signed by the UFC. At that time, we had 2000. We went through a period where we had just strikers on top of strikers, from Frankie Edgar, from who was a heavy-handed boxer, by the way, for his size. We had BJ Penn from Hawaii. We had Kenny Ken Flofrorian from Boston, Massachusetts. We had the young man Thiago Pitbull Alves from the Black Zillion in Florida. We had I'm naming all my favorite fighters here from the old school UFC days. We had who else we had here? We had Daniel Cowboy Cerrone from WEC from New Mexico. Howdy, Cowboy. I remember you. And then we had John Jones, who was a full-fledged MMA fighter. At that time, was facing his rival Lord Vader, Ryan Bader from Arizona. And then, but these guys were heavy wrestlers, but not in that division. Ladies and gentlemen, behold a new era in the UFC to celebrate its 30th anniversary. Right now, you and I are blessed to witness wrestling in its pure form. Greco, Ugandan Roman wrestling, as it was meant to be. Between two animals. From the Spanish side, Henry Cejudo, a proud Mexican American who respects his people. I have nothing but respect. And I would like to thank you for training with John Jones. Me, I have respect for everybody, bro. Regardless what. As long as you respect me and my people. On my side, I have my cousin, my yardy cousin, Aljamain Sterling. Young men, you have made Jamaica proud. You have made Jamaican American proud. You have made Caribbean warriors proud when it comes to your fighting wits. I did not know you could wrestle until I saw your biography a couple of years ago. This young man can wrestle, folks, but on the other side, Henry Cejudo is an Olympian. Folks, Olympians. Let's underline that word. Olympians. Olympia. Invented by the Greek warriors in ancient time. To be an Olympian is not a joke, folks. You have to train day and night to gain such status as an Olympian. You don't eat, you don't sleep until training is complete. Gold medallion, Henry Cejudo. On the other hand, Aljamain Sterling, NCAA's champions, one of the greatest American wrestlers of all time. Aljamain Sterling, one of Staten Island's best. Student of Roberto Longo, Paisano, Rispetto. A man who studied for Matt Serra. You know who that is, folks. If you're from Quebec, you know who that is. This is the young man who challenged us once upon a time, who beat one of my favorite fighters of all time, George St. Pierre Rush. Aljamain Sterling have good wrestling. Very strong wrestling for his frame. And I respect that. But you're going to face, my friend, a 2 times division champion. And I would like you to be completely focused this Saturday night when you step in the gladiator pit. So, since we're going to have 2 magnificent wrestlers, you're probably asking me by now, man, that was long-winded. I know it was. I had to prove my point. Now, who should you pick for this bout as your winner? I admire both fighters. If you ask me, if we're talking about youth, I would go with Aljamain Sterling for youth, vigor, strength, agility. Somebody who could finish a fight within 5 rounds with technical knockout power beyond your wildest dream. But I'm not fooling for my money. If I was placing a bet, I have to go with Someone who's been there before. For the first time in the history of the UFC, I'm going to watch a wrestling main event where two fighters are as equal. So if you come to experience wits of wrestling, they both have it. If it comes to how to maneuver on a wrestling mat, the advantage will go to Henry Cejudo. He's been doing it all his life. My ultimate verdict, you say, for the winner of this bout will be, it breaks my heart to say this, but I have to be sincere with you. It will be Aljamain Sterling who win this match this Saturday night. However, do not be shocked if Henry Cejudo defeat Aljamain Sterling within 5 rounds. He have the experience to do it. You say, okay, why you choose Aljamain Sterling? Is it racial? Nah. Is it because it's the youth? Nah, not really. Henry Cejudo took 4 years from the UFC to raise his family. To that I am proud and respect that. He became a father of his daughter. Men of respect. Señor Henry Cejudo. De caballo. Mi caballero. Sánganse, way. Men of respect, let's go. I know you're a warrior. The reason I'm picking Aljamain Sterling is this. There is a thing called cage rust. And there have only been a few fighters to beat that demon called cage rust. John Bon Jones have beaten it. Georges St. Pierre have beaten it. Anderson Spider Silva. Not so much. He didn't do it. Because Chris Weidman, what's his name? Chris Weidman broke your leg. Man, I remember. The horrendous injury. And guess whose camp did it? Aljamain Sterling's camp. In Staten Island, New Jersey. Roberto Longo was there to manage Chris Weidman. Remember that song? And I won't back down. And I'ma stand my ground. Remember that song? This is the same man who trained Aljamain Sterling. The same man who used Chris Weidman to destroy Anderson Spider Silva's legs, bro. I know who Henry Cejudo is facing. And respect to Brother Merab from Georgia, who is a great partner of Aljamain Sterling, by the way. Man of respect. Al Iaquinta. Paisano, respect. Henry Cejudo been doing this antic for the cameras recently, which I respect. It's called in the spirit of competition. It is part of the game to sell tickets to put derrieres to the seats. New Jersey, make no mistake. You will witness history this Saturday when these two gladiators step in the pit for the main event. It's going to be one of them grandiose wrestling fest. To all my UFC fans, you know how you watch the UFC when they start to wrestle. My whole head will be like this for 5 rounds. Like a gynecologist examining this thing. But I do believe that because of Roberto Luongo's methods, that will give Aljo Sterling the edge. But do not be shocked at all if Henry Cejudo beat him. Remember, Cage Rust, he's back. He's back, yes, with the gimmicks. I do not know if he still has the fire in his belly. Okay? So that may play a factor. But again, if you're going to put your money, this fight, I expect it to go 5 rounds. Full 5 rounds. But with a 60% to 70% ratio, I expect a TKO between either or. My pick, preferably, Aljo Sterling. But again, for the underdog lovers, do not count Cejudo out at all. That would be a grave mistake to make. Two-time Olympian, Champions. Two-time in the UFC champions. Correct me here. Olympic gold medal. The only fighter in the history of the UFC to have done this. Henry Cejudo and the Bushido Code of great honor. Us. You are the only fighter who've done this in the UFC. No one has. Gold medal Olympian. Two times division champions. If you want to prove me wrong, go search into the entire UFC roster. Go to the roster right now. Go, 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 go do it. Go in the Pride FC and Japan roster. Find me a gold Olympian. I dare you. Henry Cejudo. Respecto, mi amigo. And happy Cinco de Mayo. Para ti y tu familia. Happy Cinco de Mayo to you and your family. Now moving down to the co-main event. I have Gilbert Burns versus my brother Bilal Muhammad. Folks, I cannot pick. I cannot pick a winner in this one. I cannot do a verdict. I got respect for Bilal Muhammad, and everybody know I like me some Gilbert Burns because he's been through so much as a fighter. This is his third fight this year. And we are only on the fifth month of the year. Third fight. If I say I'm gonna pick Bilal Muhammad, it would be disrespectful to Gilbert Burns. If I say I'm gonna pick Gilbert against Bilal Muhammad, it would be disrespectful to Bilal Muhammad because he's a fighter I respect very highly. So I will let you guys decide, but I will give you a tip. It will end in a knockout or a TKO. It will not go the distance. But if you want to know who's gonna be the winner, not me. Mm-mm. Allah will decide. Now moving down to the fight, the ladies bout between Jessica Andrade versus Mrs. Xiaoyan from China. You would like to select your winner when it comes to your pick. The young lady from China, I think, will be victorious this Saturday night. I'll explain myself. She's 30 years old and she's at a maximum peak. And she's been learning the art of wrestling from Team Alpha Male with the mentorship of Uriah Faber, one of my favorite fighters of all time. Everybody know who's Team Alpha Male's recipe. When it comes to wrestling, we don't play. It is our bread and butter. This young lady was one of the first female fighters from China, from Beijing, to take the challenge. If you want to make some money, Jessica Andrade is now, because she's tasted glory already in the UFC. Respect to Brazil. Obrigado for this wonderful warrior, this Amazonian of a fighter. She's very good at what she does. It's just that there is a thing called, once you taste glory, you become complacent. Don't forget, she's been there before, but at her age, I think she's 34, 36 years old. Remember when Thug Rose Ramanunis was one of the best fighters in the ladies division? Thug Rose. Thug Rose used to clean an entire division by herself until complacency kicked in. My verdict is that Xiao Yang will win this fight. I do not know if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Let me look at it again to make sure I'm saying your name correctly, young lady. I think that she will be victorious because she's hungry. A hungry fighter is a scary fighter as a challenger. Xiao Yan will be the winner of this fight this Saturday. Sorry, Jessica Andrade. But I have studied this on so many angles, and the outcome came out the same. The result. You will lose within 3 rounds. I timed it. If this fight get past round 3, then Jessica Andrade have a chance to beat her due to experience in the championship rounds. Again, folks, I'm picking Xiao Yan to be victorious before round 3, or at the end of round 3 before round 4, and that will bring us to our conclusion when it comes to my prediction for UFC this weekend. This will be in New Jersey at the Presidential Center, the home of the New Jersey Devils, the home of Frankie Edgar. We call him in Montreal Little Rocky Balboa. But Aljamain Sterling, my brother, I know Henry Cejudo look like a small little Tasmanian devil, bro. He act like it too when it come to attitude. I revere you both, cause me I like me some Henry Cejudo as well, cause he's a pit bull. He remind me of Frank Shamrock, not Ken. Ken was a prick. I didn't like him. When I used to watch Strike Force, I used to watch Frank Shamrock, bro. Dominate his opponent to oblivion. Henry Cejudo, you remind me of him. And Aljamain Sterling, you remind me of the great Kimbo Slice. That bill look nice, man. I like that. So I'm looking at history here in New Jersey this Saturday. Two hungry wrestlers who wants it bad. There is no animosity against them. Seriously. It's just like for the sake of the cameras. Guys, please make sure you guys watch Embedded. Very important. Let's support the UFC, but that brings us full entertainment. Come on, let's show them some love. Mm. Let's show them some love. So this is gonna be a great wrestling fight, and I'm hoping that you are entertained by these gladiators. And also one announcement I have to make to you guys before I go. I got great news for you guys. I do not, according to the UFC, there is a rumor going on like Kamaru Usman is ready to face Kamzat Kimaev. Again, it's a rumor. I will do more research on this to find out if it is real, if these two will fight because there is no title here. And I know Kamzat really wanted peace of Israel Adesanya. But again, I will keep you guys posted. Keep your ears sharp. Go do your research to see if this is concrete facts that if it is indeed true that Kamaru Usman and Kamzat Kimaev will step up in the octagon. I wish you guys a happy Cinco de Mayo. To those who's drinking la cerveza, drink responsibly, please. Be safe with your family. Enjoy your long weekend and party like it's no tomorrow. Happy Cinco and have a wonderful weekend. I'm out.